Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, guys, we got some wild pictures here. We have some mind-blowing ones that we'll get to in a few, and I hope you guys will stick around for all these. There's such wild stuff going on. It feels like time is speeding up. And so this first one is some intense chemtrail spraying. Just look at that sky. You know, they are obviously trying to cover up something, and I think we've got some really good shots at what they are trying to cover up as we go. Another thing that we've had strange phenomenon is right here. And the first one that brought this to my attention was Tony. But we're seeing this in many, many different locations.
Hey, Mike, here they are again.
These X's
hey, Mike,
and
here
circles.
They are again.
They are, you know, just appearing in many different locations, and they're a sign of the times that we're in, and perhaps a sign of the return of perhaps some of the original creators, according to some people, is what I'm getting. Some would refer to them as the ancient builder race or the return of the gods. Some people are basically saying, or perhaps, you know, some would view it as the second coming. But it's fascinating to see everything that's coming around. And so check this out. And of course, many of you guys are familiar with Lascaux. So of course we have up here something that seems to be stable. It's not flaring. It's not flare. It's just stable. So what's up with that? There's been so many photographs of what appears to be a second sun, even at times a second moon, and even wilder things than that. So what really is up in the skies, and what really is the prime mover, the prime cause of all the wildness that we're seeing from the weather situation, you know, the earth changes. Things are different. There's too many anomalous objects and things that we're seeing. Actually, let me go to this first. This is from Russia. And you've probably seen these before, and we've seen these up in Sweden, Norway, but it's becoming a more and more common sight. The sun halos, the reflecting because of all the atmospheric changes that we have going on. All the ice crystals is what they will tell us, almost like a reverse rainbow up in the sky. And this was sent to us by one of our family members who has relatives and friends up in Russia. And now let's go into some photos. Starting off over here, this is something we've seen many times. And I'm going to finish with the more dramatic ones. But as we adjust the light and the color. Always trying to block out something. Interesting wave-like patterns up through the chemtrailed clouds. Many people think that they're using some sort of harp or harp-like tool in order to perhaps magnify the 5G effects. There's so many things going on here. Now the planes is a good snapshot. I mean, so many of the planes that we see laying the chemtrails, they're really just unmarked, completely unmarked planes. And it's interesting that you could see underneath the wing these objects. And in some photos I've seen in the past, you could clearly see, perhaps 2 jet engines, but then 4 other nozzles that on each side that are spraying. And now I don't think there's too many people that deny chemtrails anymore. It's just so obvious. But think about all the years they denied them and fought vehemently against chemtrails being a reality. And now, of course, they've come right out and said, hey, you know what we're going to start doing? We're going to start spraying chemicals in the sky to help mitigate the effects of global warming. And, how many people have made note of the fact that the light from the sun seems so diffuse, as if there's more than one light source? We've seen that time and time again. Well, let me go over here first. Now, is this just a simple lens flare refracting? Let's just play with the light a little bit. I haven't played with it. Perhaps that's all lens flare. That is interesting. But without a doubt, look what we're seeing way down here too. It's like, for one, the sun is a gigantic blob. And then you have this pretty round part over here protruding off the top of it. So that's kind of interesting. And we have another photo. Sorry about that, guys, there. This is actually the moon. Almost looks like it's an eclipse. But many people have been talking about how the moon looks really weird, really odd. And even some people have even seen multiple moons. Multiple crescent moons, I've heard from numerous people as well. So to get to some other ones that are really interesting, this is off Alaska. And look at this. You have what looks to be a dark object. And look at these. These don't look like distant stars way far away. These look like objects that perhaps are orbiting this dark object over here. So what do you guys make of that? And so if I go and undo the changes I had, you could still see them. But by playing with the light and the color and the clarity, they seem to stick out more. So that is definitely interesting, especially when we take into consideration how many times do we see something that looks circular and bright right next to the sun, as if it's not a part of the sun, but just very close to the sun, or the sun simulator. And perhaps, many people have many different ideas on that as well. There's another photo. Again, adjusting the light and the color and the clarity. Definitely looks like it's some roundish object here. And then what about these things as well? So these are all just other screen captures, very, very similar. So what is your opinion, guys, on this? Do you think this is just nothing? Nothing at all? Or do you think this is really something there? I definitely am looking forward to your comments on these. Looks very curious to me, to say the least. That looks pretty spherical. And then those. So as always, my friends, I look forward to your comments. As always, thumbs up, support the channel. Do subscribe, click the bell, get all the notifications, and share with as many people as possible. And we'll work on all this together. And hopefully we'll figure out all the answers sooner than later. God bless, my friends. Namaste.